My girlfriend once shouted at me in anger and said, "If you ever leave me now, you have no idea what I will do." I stayed silent, and for the next few months, I lived life completely according to her wishes. But one day, suddenly, while we were at a restaurant, some guy walked in. The moment she saw him, she ran toward him. And then she said something, or did something, that no one there could have ever expected. I just got up from the table, walked out, got in my car, and blocked her number. But that very night, a call from that same guy changed everything. My name's Nathan. I'm a software engineer in Austin, the kind of guy who avoids drama and genuinely believed that if you treated people with respect, they'd do the same. I was wrong. I met Lily at a friend's barbecue 2 years ago. She was magnetic, confident, beautiful, with this laugh that made everyone turn and smile. She worked in marketing, always had interesting stories, and seemed to light up whenever I walked into a room. For the first 8 months, everything felt perfect. Weekends hiking, trying new restaurants, talking until 3 in the morning. But around the 1-year mark, things shifted. She'd get upset if I didn't text back within 10 minutes. She'd scroll through my phone while I was in the shower. She questioned why I needed to hang out with friends without her, why my female coworker would comment on my Instagram posts, why I didn't want to move in together after only 14 months. I told myself it was just insecurity, so I gave her reassurance. I stopped going to guys' nights as often. I texted constantly. I introduced her to everyone in my life. It still wasn't enough. The real turning point came on a Tuesday night in March. We'd been arguing about something trivial. I'd arrived 20 minutes late to her apartment because of traffic on I-35. "You don't even care about me anymore," she said, her voice rising. "You show up late. You barely talk to me. Lily, there was an accident. I texted you about it. You could have left earlier." She slammed the wooden spoon down on the counter, and red sauce splattered across the white tile. "Don't interrupt me when I'm talking." I took a breath. "I'm not trying to fight. I'm sorry I was late. The food smells amazing. You're not happy. You never look happy anymore when you're with me." "That's not true." "It is. You look at me like I'm some kind of burden." "Lily, where is this coming from? I love you. I'm here." Her face changed. The anger transformed into something colder, more calculated. She stepped closer, and her voice dropped to barely above a whisper. "If you ever leave me now, you have no idea what I will do." The way she said it made my blood run cold. It wasn't a plea. It was a threat. Her eyes were completely serious, almost dead calm. I should have left right then, but I just stood there, frozen. After a few seconds of silence, she turned around and started serving the pasta like nothing had happened. "Sit down," she said in a normal voice. "Food's getting cold." I sat down. We ate in complete silence. I tasted nothing. That night replayed in my mind for weeks. "You have no idea what I will do." What did that mean? Would she hurt herself? Hurt me? Show up at my workplace? The ambiguity was almost worse than if she'd been specific. I didn't break up with her. Instead, I made a choice I'm not proud of. I decided to become exactly what she wanted. Completely agreeable. Totally available. I would give her no reason to ever make good on that threat. For the next 3 months, I lived my life entirely according to her wishes. She wanted me to text every hour during work? Done. Skip my college roommate's birthday party? No problem. Unfollow every woman on Instagram except family? Consider it done. Share my location 24/7? Enabled that same day. I stopped voicing opinions about where to eat dinner. I just said, "Whatever you want, babe." I stopped making plans with friends unless she approved them. I started working from her apartment 3 days a week because she said it made her feel more secure. My best friend Kyle noticed something was wrong. "Dude, we haven't hung out in like 6 weeks, he said during a phone call. "What's going on?" "Nothing's going on. Things are just busy." "You don't sound fine." I said I'm fine, Kyle. He backed off, but I could hear the concern in his voice. The thing is, I wasn't fine. I was exhausted. I lost weight. I started getting tension headaches. I'd wake up with my jaw clenched so tight my teeth hurt. But Lily seemed happier than ever. She'd tell me how much she appreciated me, how I was the best boyfriend she'd ever had. And for brief moments, I'd feel that old spark. Then I'd remember that threat, and the spark would die. 3 months of this. 90 days of performing the role of perfect boyfriend while slowly losing myself. And then came Saturday, June 15th. Lily wanted to try this new upscale restaurant downtown called Harvest. I made reservations for 7 p.m., picked her up, complimented her dress, drove while she talked about her week. The restaurant was beautiful. Exposed brick walls, Edison bulbs, fresh flowers. We were seated by the window. Lily ordered Pinot Grigio. I ordered an IPA. The salmon looks amazing, she said. What are you thinking? Probably the ribeye. You always get steak. I like steak. She smiled. I know you do. For a moment, it felt almost normal. I let myself relax just a little. That's when he walked in. Lily's entire body went rigid. Her eyes locked onto the entrance, and all the color drained from her face. I turned and saw a tall guy in his early 30s, well-built, wearing a button-down and jeans. He was with another couple, laughing. Before I could ask what was wrong, Lily was out of her seat. She ran across the restaurant toward him. Not walked quickly, ran. Her heels clicking rapidly, weaving between tables, nearly bumping into a server. Josh, she called out. The guy, Josh, turned around. His expression cycled through confusion, recognition, then discomfort. I watched as Lily threw her arms around him. A full embrace, the kind you'd give someone you desperately missed. She was saying something I couldn't hear. Josh didn't really hug her back. His arms came up awkwardly, patting her shoulder before he stepped backward. He said something, and she laughed, touching his arm. He said something else, his expression definitely uncomfortable now. Other diners were starting to notice. Then Lily grabbed Josh's hand with both of hers and said something that made him physically recoil. He pulled his hand away. She reached for him again, and he took another step back, shaking his head. The woman Josh was with, his wife, based on the ring, put a protective hand on his arm. That's when I understood. This wasn't some old friend. This was someone from her past, someone she clearly wasn't over, someone who very obviously wanted nothing to do with her. I didn't wait to see how it ended. I stood up, dropped 2 20s on the table, and walked out. Got in my car and drove away. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel. I made it 3 blocks before I had to pull over. I sat in a bank parking lot, my chest tight. For 3 months, I'd sacrificed everything to keep her happy. My friendships, my autonomy, my self-respect. I'd let her control every aspect of my life because I was terrified of what she might do. And the entire time, she'd been pining for someone else. I pulled out my phone and blocked her number. Then blocked her on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. I deleted every photo. I didn't send a breakup text. I just cut her out in under 5 minutes. Then I drove home, got into bed, and stared at my ceiling. Around midnight, my phone rang. Unknown number. Is this Nathan? A male voice I didn't recognize. Who's asking? My name is Josh Brennan. I'm calling about Lily. I think we need to talk. Tonight. Can you meet me at Mozart's Coffee on the lake in 30 minutes? Why would I do that? Because Lily's in the back of my car having a complete breakdown, and before I drop her off at a psychiatric facility, I think you deserve to know what you were actually dealing with. He hung up. 28 minutes later, I was parking at Mozart's. Josh was already there, sitting at an outdoor table, 2 coffees in front of him. Thanks for coming, he said as I sat down. I wasn't sure you would. Where's Lily? She's safe. My wife is with her in the car. She's sedated. Look, I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to be direct. How long have you been dating Lily? 2 years. Until tonight. He winced. 2 years. Jesus. I'm sorry. Sorry for what? Who are you? I dated Lily 4 years ago. For about 8 months. At first, she was incredible. But about 6 months in, things started changing. She became possessive, jealous, controlling. She'd threatened to hurt herself if I tried to end things. My stomach dropped. Did she ever say, "If you leave me, you have no idea what I'll do"? His eyes widened. Word for word. She said that to you too. 3 months ago. And you stayed. I stayed. Josh nodded. So did I for a while. But it got worse. She started showing up at my apartment unannounced. She'd call me 50 times a day. She created fake social media accounts to catfish my female coworkers. When I finally broke up with her, she showed up at my office and caused such a scene that security escorted her out. She sent emails to my boss claiming I'd stolen intellectual property. None of it was true, but it nearly cost me my job. Why didn't you get a restraining order? I tried. But she's smart. She'd push right up to the line, but never quite cross it. Eventually, she moved on to someone else. I moved to Dallas for a year, got married, came back 6 months ago. I haven't seen Lily in over 3 years. Until tonight. What did she say to you in the restaurant? Josh looked down. She told me she'd never stopped loving me. That she'd been with you, but knew we were meant to be together. She begged me to leave my wife. When I said no, she told me that if I didn't leave with her right then, she'd tell my wife I'd been having an affair with her for the past 6 months. Would your wife believe that? No. But Lily's good at creating chaos. I told her if she didn't calm down and come with me, I'd call the police. She started hyperventilating. My wife, who's a therapist, recognized the signs of a severe mental health episode. We got her outside, and my wife convinced her to take an anti-anxiety pill. She calmed down enough to give me your number. Why would she want you to call me? Because in her mind, you're the safety net. You're the one who stayed, even when she showed you who she really was. She told me in the car that you're the only person who's ever truly understood her, that she just got confused when she saw me, but knows you're the one she really loves. He leaned forward. Nathan, that's the cycle. She terrorizes you into staying, cheats, or tries to, then comes back and makes you feel like you're the hero for forgiving her. I've talked to 2 other guys she dated between me and you. Same pattern. I felt sick. Where is she now? We're taking her to a crisis center. But I wanted you to know the truth so you don't fall back into it when she inevitably reaches out. Because she will. In a few days, she'll find a way to contact you. She'll apologize, say she's getting help, promise she's changed. But unless she does serious, long-term work and accepts that she's the problem, nothing will change. I wasted 3 months terrified of her threat. I wasted 8 months. The guy before you wasted 1.5 years. You got out relatively early. Grateful, I repeated bitterly. I know it doesn't feel like it. But trust me, in 6 months, you'll look back and realize how much worse it could have gotten. He stood up. Block her on everything. Don't let her back in. Not even to talk. Not even to get closure. I already blocked her. Good. Keep it that way. And maybe talk to someone yourself. This kind of thing leaves marks you don't realize are there until later. He walked away. I watched him get into his car, where I could see his wife driving and Lily slumped in the back. I sat there for another hour, processing everything. The threat that had controlled my life for 3 months had been empty. Or rather, the danger had never been what I thought. She wouldn't have hurt me physically. She would have destroyed my reputation, my relationships, my peace of mind. The next few weeks were strange. I half expected her to find a way around my blocks. But there was only silence. I learned through mutual friends that she'd checked herself into an intensive outpatient program and moved back to San Antonio. I spent those weeks reconnecting with people I'd neglected. Kyle and I grabbed dinner, and I told him everything. I visited my parents and actually relaxed. I started going to the gym again. I also started seeing a therapist, like Josh suggested. Turned out he was right about the marks. I had developed hypervigilance, constantly checking my phone. I had trouble trusting my own judgment. I had normalized behaviors that should have been immediate deal breakers. 2 months after that night, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. Subject line, I'm sorry. I deleted it without reading. A week later, another email. Delete. She tried 3 more times. Delete, delete, delete. Eventually, they stopped. It's been 6 months now. I'm dating again, slowly. I went out with someone named Amy a few times. We met at a climbing gym. She's kind, secure, has healthy boundaries. When I told her on our 4th date that I'd gotten out of a difficult relationship and was taking things slow, she just smiled and said, "That's smart." Me too. It was the most refreshing response I could have imagined. I still think about Lily sometimes. Not with longing, but with sad clarity. She's sick in a way that no amount of love from me could have fixed. The threat wasn't about what she'd do to me. It was about what she'd do to herself, spiraling further into chaos because she can't maintain real connections. That's not my responsibility to fix. It never was. Last week, I ran into Josh at a coffee shop downtown. We recognized each other immediately. "How are you doing?" he asked. "Better. A lot better." "You?" "Good. Really good. My wife and I just found out we're having a baby." "Congratulations." "Thanks." He hesitated. "Have you heard from her?" "She tried to email a few times. I never responded." "You?" "Nothing. I think we might actually be free." We talked for a few more minutes, exchanged numbers, then went our separate ways. Walking back to my car, I realized he was right. I was free. The threat that had hung over me, "You have no idea what I will do," had lost all its power the moment I stopped caring about the answer. She could have done anything. Showed up at my workplace. Spread lies. Made my life hell. But I would have survived it. I would have rebuilt. And I would have done it without her chaos poisoning every moment. That's the thing about threats. They only work if you value the threatener's presence more than your own peace. I don't anymore. I'm 28 years old. I live in Austin. I work as a software engineer, I climb on weekends, and I'm slowly figuring out what healthy love actually looks like. And I've never been more grateful to have walked out of a restaurant and never looked back.